Morrie. Morrie, how are you doing, buddy? What are you dreaming about? Peanut butter? Oh, is that what you're dreaming about? What a good fella. Are you dreaming about anything else? No? Just some peanut butter?
Well, welcome to the episode. We got a couple of really cool things in store for you today. What are you doing today?
I'm interviewing David Gretz. He's the salesman that helped us put together this truck. It was a year ago, and it was taken. I did it the day we picked up the truck. And you?
The dehydrator that we picked up a number of months ago. I'm going to do a little bit of a demonstration as well as a review of that unit. But before we do anything like that, we need to pause for a word from our sponsor.
Sponsor? We have a sponsor?
Yeah, we do. This guy. Hi, my name is Steve, and I wrote this book. This is Lessons in Leadership, a Storied Approach. It is loaded with all kinds of stories and experiences that resulted in significant lessons in leadership. The softcover and ebook are available on Amazon, and the audiobook, which I might mention I also narrated, is available wherever you purchase your favorite audiobooks. Lessons in Leadership, a Storied Approach. I hope you pick it up.
Really? You went there?
I went there. Yep.
Oh, well. We're here with David Gretz from Tower Chrysler. He sold us you describe what we bought.
Ram 3500 2023 dually.
Okay, and it's a diesel.
Diesel, yes, correct.
How long have you been at Tower?
I've been here just over 6 years now. 6 years and 1 month. I come from the hospitality originally, bars and restaurants. So it's a different transition, but I still get to meet lots of people, get to know them, talk to them, make friends.
I see a lot of trucks in Calgary. Are they popular in Calgary?
Trucks are very popular in Calgary and in Alberta. It's one of our biggest sellers because a lot of people do a lot of camping. And you can't pull a proper sized camper with a car. So trucks are a big part of that. A lot of people buy the vehicles because they are such a comfortable ride now. A lot of people feel safer because they sit higher and they see more, but they may not necessarily tow a trailer. But they're good for garbage runs and helping people move. And a vehicle like yours will tow 22 to 25, 30,000 pounds, depending on how it's set up properly.
I was going to ask, what do you like about sales and
helping people out? I had a couple come in the other night. They actually phoned in on an inquiry on a vehicle, and phone was it was passed through to me. So I'm talking to them on the phone. They were sitting in another dealership with a very unhappy experience. So I said, well, I have these certain trucks available. Come on down. And they said, we'll be there in 15, 20 minutes. So they came in and I sat and I listened to what had happened at the other dealership, found out what they wanted, found them a vehicle, and I sold them a vehicle.
what do you think was the key takeaway of that experience for them?
The key experience for them, and this is what they told me, was that they felt comfortable and acknowledged.
Because you
Listened and helped solve a problem. And he was at the other dealership and he told me I was there to buy a truck and they did not treat me with respect. So I left. And he was a faithful customer there. He had bought 1 or 2 vehicles from them already.
But when you develop a relationship, if you have an off day, they might be more forgiving.
Yes, yeah, and I mean, everybody has an off day,
Yeah,
but we try not to show it, of course,
yeah.
right? I mean, we deal with the public.
Leadership, I would say that because you try to put a smile on every day, and every time I've seen you, it looks natural and comes easy.
Of course.
So I would say that the leadership of the of Tower Chrysler, it helps that.
Definitely. I mean, we've got good managers, a good general manager. Serge is probably the best general manager I've ever worked with. He's understanding, his door's always open. So if I have a problem or I have an issue, I can walk in, sit down, talk to him. Coming from the restaurant industry, I was everything from bartender server all the way up to a GM. And I know how important everybody is in this business. And even in the restaurants, I used to go into the dish and throw my tie over my shoulder and tell the dishwasher to go take a break for 20 minutes, half hour, whatever. And I stood there and did dishes for them. I learned that helping people out will get more favors for you if you ever have to ask something.
So would you say that the bottom line isn't more important than the customer here?
Customers are more important, right? There are sales where I make a lot of money. There are sales where I make nothing. Sometimes there's a lot of sales where I make nothing or very little, but it's more about helping people out, right? Making sure that they've got the right vehicle for the right job, making sure that they're happy and that they got the best deal. And that's a very important part of our dealership, right? We make sure that it's the right vehicle for the right job. You know, it's solve a problem, sell a car. That's our philosophy.
We came in with pretty much, here, this is what we want. But you did talk us through, okay, what about this and this and that?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And that was really helpful, because we see it on paper.
Yes.
And you're building your truck online, and it says, oh, because you chose this one, you have to take this package, but it doesn't tell you what this package is, but you did.
Yes, and that's part of product knowledge. But you have to adapt to people too, right? When certain people come in and they start talking, and you have to adapt to maybe their sense of humor or even their political views. You don't disagree with them. Even if you don't disagree with them.
Yes.
It's trying to make them feel comfortable.
Yeah, let them feel heard.
Yeah.
So if they feel heard on that, they would feel heard when they talk about what their needs are.
Yeah. And that's a lot from when I was working in bars and restaurants.
That was good training for being here.
Yes.
So just prior to this, were you in cars?
So I've been here for just over 6 years. I was at a different dealership outside of town in Okotoks for about 1 year. And then before that, 30 years in restaurants and bars.
Yeah, so you had 30 years of training.
Yes. Before that, I was a dairy farmer and a hog farmer.
Oh, farm boy. So you know trucks.
I know trucks.
Our very first dehydrator, we picked it up in 1983. It was an Iona brand, which I don't think can get anymore. However, Iona, as we found out, is actually a subsidiary of Excalibur, and the Excalibur dehydrators are everywhere. And in fact, when we had to get replacement parts for our Iona, we actually just picked up the Excalibur brand trays and things like that. This book, since 1983, extremely well used. We have done so much dehydrating out of this. You can actually see the whole inside of it has started to fall apart, but it has been a fantastic book for us, and it really introduced us to the whole concept of dehydrated food. Now, I don't know Tammy Gangloff at all. I did pick this book up a couple of years ago just to see if there was anything I was missing. Most of the stuff in here I already knew, but there was always ways of finding some new things. So if there is one that I would recommend, I really enjoyed Tammy's book. One of the biggest concerns about the old Iona safety regulations have changed, and that dehydrator is not capable of going up to the temperatures that you need to safely dehydrate things like beef jerky. And so we felt that it was important to get one that is a little bit more modern, that is paying attention to the current safety standards, but also something that was designed specifically for travel. In our research, we came across this folding dehydrator. It's from a company called Broad & Taylor, and they are not a sponsor of this video. I purchased this one. I will tell you, however, that I, living in Canada, ended up purchasing it from the US. They have a sale every fall that makes this dehydrator very cost effective. Otherwise it is, I'm going to admit, kind of expensive. And in Canada, they were not holding the sale and they were not honoring the sale price from the US. So I found that it was actually cheaper for me to pay for the exchange rate plus shipping, and I was still saving north of $75 on the cost of the dehydrator if I would have bought it in Canada. And so the things that I highly recommend for all kinds of dehydrating is some type of silicone mat. These are not from Broad & Taylor. They have their own. I just had these already from another project. I want the small mesh tray top liners. Sometimes you're going to be dehydrating things that as they shrink down, carrots, for example, big enough to fit on this grate, but as they get smaller, they will get small enough to actually fall through the hole and they end up on your catch tray at the bottom. So having this mesh tray is very good. It has enough to hold the 7 trays. I also went with the metal. There is a plastic option, but I find that with heavier things, when you start getting into large batches of fruit leather, for example, sometimes it's quite heavy, and I just didn't want anything to bend. This is from personal experience with our other dehydrator. So 7 of these. So there's 7 metal racks, 7 mesh, and 7 silicone, and they all fit in a nice little kit that fits right up on top of the dehydrator and goes with you. Now, this whole package, when it's all done, is just a little over 25 pounds or about 11.3 kilograms. So it's not really light, but it's quite convenient. Where we're going to be storing this, we have a 5-inch gap underneath the bed, and this is where the dehydrator is going to live. Unfortunately, with this on top, this thing comes to 6 inches deep. So the nice thing about this is I will be able just to take this out, lay it to the side, and when this is closed, this is now 4 inches, and so it'll fit in our underbed storage. The dehydrator itself, nice and secure in here, and this is a tight case, by the way. Trying to get this thing into the case takes a little bit of a struggle because it is absolutely custom built for this. But let's get the dehydrator out and we'll take a look at the setup. All right, I was showing you how to set this up. It's actually really simple. There's 2 little red knobs on the side. You just open those and that releases the lid. Inside you're going to have a drip tray, which is going to go into the bottom of the dehydrator. When this is set up, there are 2 little stop barriers. So when it is unfolded, these are designed to make sure that it doesn't get pushed right up against a wall. There's a storage space for your power cord. From here, the setup, just bring it up. There's a little button right here that has to be pressed. This holds everything together, and then we're just unfolding it. It clicks into place. Now inside there is a little recess, and this is important because that is the recess for the knobs. When you fold this back up and it folds down, these knobs are going to fit in that recess, and that's why the drip tray does not stay in here for travel. It goes out and goes back up on top. Okay, from there, drip tray goes back in, and then the lid. And in this case, the lid just gets turned around. Depending on what you're dehydrating, you will need the silicone mat on top of the metal, or the mesh on top of the metal, or just the metal. Power cable plugs into the bottom side here, and then into a convenient outlet. To use the unit is pretty straightforward. Power button on, and then you will notice there is a little arrow right now that is pointing to time. We can change that with the mode, and now it is in temperature. What you're setting here using this scroll wheel is how much time you want to have the dehydrator run for. I'll just set it for 7 hours. Our temperature, let's say we are doing some fruit leather, we'll set that around 135, and then we start. And it'll take 2 seconds, and it'll get started. It comes up to temperature very quickly, and then this will just count down, and it will automatically stop. There is a beeper that will tell you when your dehydrating session is done. You can also turn that off. Well, bottom line, I think this is going to be a very good unit for us as far as travel is concerned. As mentioned, we don't have a lot of storage space, and the other unit is quite tall. It takes up a lot of very empty space because it doesn't fold up. So that's going to be a huge benefit for us. It is heavier than the other unit, but that is also including everything. That's all of our trays, the unit itself. So the weight is a consideration. It's not hugely overweight, 25 pounds, 11.3 kilograms total weight on the unit. As far as would I recommend this, if you are planning on doing a tremendous amount of dehydrating. So for us, for example, we're going into a big store and we're buying a large bag of carrots. It's nice to be able to have some fresh carrots for a few days, but because of the amount of space we have in a fridge, trying to keep things fresh is going to be, we already know, difficult. And I don't want to be stopping at stores all the time to get food. Most people can't tell the difference between dehydrated food and fresh food. Honestly, if it's in a stew or a soup, something like that, you really can't tell the difference. So if you're going to be doing a lot of dehydrating, which we will be, this thing is going to be running probably 4 to 5 to 6 times a week. Things are put away that we're doing a conscientious job of food storage and not having a huge amount of waste, then yes, I would highly recommend this. If, on the other hand, you're just going to be dehydrating once in a while, a few times a year to make some fruit leathers or, little snacks, banana chips, things that you'd like to put into, some soups and stews and just have some leftover stuff, then there's a lot of other options out there that are a lot less expensive that will do just as good a job as this. This, for us, was really about the travel, and we're quite excited about getting on the road and utilizing this again. As was mentioned, we have been dehydrating for many years, and a huge trip that we took in 2016 across Canada was largely made up of us eating dehydrated meals, full meals. Put them together, add water, and you're having a chickpea curry over a campfire. It was absolutely amazing, and we'll be doing a lot more of that on this trip. Now, these are a few of the items that I've dehydrated in the last little while. We've got celery, tomato powder. What's nice about this is all homegrown tomatoes from the greenhouse this year, from our greenhouse. And you just dehydrate them, turn them into powder, and you can replace tomato paste with this. Some mango, some whole peppers. I've got some kiwi. There's 3 or 4 different types of squash in there. Papaya, sweet peppers, red and green. Mushrooms, which I see I'm getting very low on, so I have to do some more of those. Onions, which I'm getting low on. I've got a couple of different types of carrots. So these are just plain sliced carrots, just to rehydrate those. Strawberries, which are amazing. This is shredded carrots. What I do with these is make enough for 1 carrot cake, which I absolutely love. Cabbage, which we do a lot of stuff with in soups and stews and things like that. very interesting with this tomato sauce and spaghetti sauce. So we find that when we open a jar of either one, that quite often there's leftovers. And so instead of leaving it in the fridge and waiting for it to mold, I just dehydrate it. And you can just reconstitute the spaghetti. I just cut it in strips like I would with fruit leathers and toss it in with the spaghetti water while the spaghetti is cooking. And we end up with the sauce rehydrating. Salsa, same type of thing. We open up a jar and we're just waiting for it in the fridge to go bad. So in this case, I take the leftovers, dehydrate them, and I make them in 1 cup units. So all you're doing is adding a cup of boiling water, waiting for that to rehydrate, and then putting it in the fridge to cool. Spices and herbs out of the garden, so lots of different options for that, and lots of different types of fruit leather. And what's really nice about the fruit leather is that you can make it however you want. So for example, this batch here was made with juice from red currants. I have a red currant bush out in the backyard, so I just took and juiced a bunch of it, added it with some apple. I've got apple and pineapple. I've got apple, pineapple, orange juice. Just whatever your heart desires, you can turn that into some pretty amazing fruit leathers. So I think this dehydrator is going to be very handy for us. We've already got a lot of work out of it, and I think we're enjoying it.
Yeah, it was very convenient to have 2 of them.
David looks like a super nice guy.
He is. He was really good and really easy to talk to and to deal with. So, yeah, he's a good dude at Tower Chrysler in Calgary.
And that is this episode of Travels with Morrie. Morrie. Morrie.
No, Morrie.
Morrie. Hello, buddy. Can you say bye-bye? No, just give me a treat.
Can you say bye-bye?